Alright, so Mitaku Yeo Yasin, Mitaku Yeo Yasin, Ma'aka Rakaba, Isfenzar Rakaba, Isfenzar Rakaba. I'm Mac, MAQ369, Melanated Anointed, and Quantum, leader of the Mexica Nation, descendant of the sovereign heirs of Turtle Island, here to we're gonna discuss some violence. We're gonna talk about my violence, talk about my story, give some little backstory before I discuss my position and how I see violence and how I see grief and how I see trauma. Right? I started a video, my iPad went dead, but so I grew up in magic. I grew up with a Nigerian witch doctor dad that was a fruit of Islam. I mean, grandfather who was a fruit of Islam, spiritual hitman, an amazing cook. My grandmother's side of the family, heavenly, filled with Muslims, Christians, but Aboriginal to Blackfoot, Apache, Lenape, and those traditions. Like I always tell everybody, growing up in magic, right? Growing up in magic means that you have to learn to be in the middle of the storm, right? Because systematically, right? Me personally, melanated, grew up in low income neighborhoods in Newark, New Jersey. Newark is the murder capital. ACER is a score that they give you based off of how much trauma you've seen as a youth. Were you around drugs? Were you around abuse? Were you around domestic violence? Were you ever abused? Were you sexually assaulted? Things of that nature, right? And the awesomeness about it, right? The awesomeness about uh, the ACER score. Um, it's like a prisoner pipeline, a school to prison pipeline, based off of your ACER score, based off of your reading level. They're already setting you up for a certain path. But domestic domestic violence is not just from boyfriend and girlfriend or husband and wife. It's any violence that's done inside the domicile. So, witnessing domestic violence and witness my grandmother have to get 50-something stitches because she jumped in the front of drugged out boyfriend of my mom's. Um, and this is the thing: these communities that we're in are systemically um, set up to prepare us for the military, prepare us for prison, prepare us for the work field, prepare us to be a slave. Uh, they continuously found ways to destroy the family, pull the father out, no matter if it's because the father is chasing a bag or is chasing ass, or if the father has a record and can't stay in the house if you want government assistance. You know, it's like I watched my mom put my stepfather on child support so she could get food stamps, right? And he lived in the house. And I know it was my mom way of jerking the system, but like she jerking her husband too, putting him under that contract. Um, I'm gonna give y'all a little bit about like I said, my upbringing. Um, when my first time getting arrested, right? My first time getting arrested was because of a fight that I had, right? It was a fight that I had inside the skating ring. People usually go to the skating ring to release stress. People usually go to the club to release stress, drink their shit away. And in that the fight trickled over outside, and I still was hyped, and my adrenaline was still rushing. Fuck was up, and I had my first George Floyd moment. I had the George Floyd moment before it happened. I'm in Richmond, Virginia, Franklin County. Um, and the cops are trying to clear the scene, get everything neutralized. And we walked past the cops, and the officer said, "Get out the street, get out the street." And he was like, he put his hands on me, and he touched me, and I jerked away. And immediately when I jerked away, he said, "Stop resisting, stop resisting." And they jumped me on 2 or 3 cops, all of them over 180, almost 200 pounds, over 200 pounds. Uh, I'm 135, 40 pounds soaking wet, and I think they was on top of me for no more than a minute or so, 2 minutes. It wasn't 9 minutes like George Floyd, but in that moment, like they're like, stop resisting, and I'm like, bro, I just went from being in a fight to like now I'm outside with the people that's supposed to protect us from the fight. I didn't swing on them; they just felt my energy. And I realized that my energy, that fight, along with a couple of other fights that I had a fight in the school that I was in when I came to Virginia that caused a riot between several neighborhoods. And I, I have a very impactful aura, frequency, right? A very impactful aura, right? And because I have this impactful aura, what happens at times to time is that energy is never created or destroyed, it's simply transmuted. So if I can't transmute these moments and times, it goes down to the next, it keeps vibrating out, and until there's a call and response to balance the energies, right? So if I take somebody's life, there's somebody life that has to be taken back. It's correspondence, right? Cause and effect. Um, so I say these things because I was brought up in a lot of violence. I got to see it. I actually got desensitized to a lot of the violence. My mom, like I said, if she wasn't beating our ass or sexually engaging with us, sexually misconduct with us, having us around drugs and just alcohol and sex, and it's just like me going to the military because when I got locked up when I turned 18 for that fight was my way of trying to get some discipline, right? Trying to put what I'm doing and like really get control of it. But all the military did was pump me up with different type of technology. You know they put nanotech in us, bro. I was in there in 2000, so we definitely was probably the first batch of. This was right after 9/11. Um, so they train us to be killing machines. No matter what your job is, you train to learn how to extract, to neutralize situations. You're trained to you're trained to kill, right? So after I got out, I had gained like this alcohol problem, right? Like I would drink till I black out. I would club, drink, be in strip clubs, and the military sports you, right? You guaranteed a check on the first and the 15th. The military wasn't my first job, but it was like my first like job that I could pay like rent and bills, rent with, because I've been paying bills since my first job. My mom always asked for me to put in, and there was never really a cycle of therapeutic ways to handle your trauma or your violence that you experience. So the moment that switch is flipped due to the spirits and alcohol, due to frustrations with societal norms in the system, I used to have blackout moments. And and let's fast forward to 2018. Um, my violence never stopped, regardless if it was from me beating my children because I was a disciplinary of the children, and then picking up the torch when my mom left off, to me getting into fights with my female partners, arguments, physical altercations, and in 2018 I had been houseless because my second divorce had fell apart because whatever you build, if it's built on a lie, if it's built on untruth, if it's built on sand, will always come crumbling down. The more you start walking in authenticity and truth. So both my marriages was built on me not knowing who I was, me chasing cash, following the next best thing, following the next moment in time, right? And the interesting thing about it, right, is that, like I said, I'm running my life back, and I don't know how I made it to 42. But I mean, actually, I don't know exactly how, but I know that my grandma praying and the rituals that we did and the ciphers that we did played a major part in it. But when 2018 happened, I had I had been working on like grounding. I had worked on like mindfulness. I had been working on waking up with the sun, eating better, less meals. I had been houseless for 2 years. Um, so I had really unplugged. I had stopped paying child support, stopped paying bills, stopped paying taxes, and I was really getting back to myself. And the thing about great responsibility or great rewards come great responsibility. Uh, I had took in all of this knowledge and wisdom, but I never healed my inside. I never tackled my grief. I didn't really. I just bypassed it. That's what a lot of people are doing, spiritual bypassing. And like when I had my mental health breakdown or breakthrough, right? I had already written books. I had been an accomplished author. I've been a motivational speaker. I was talking to kids in the prisons. I was at-risk youth. I was there. I got to talk to I got to speak at my high school that I got kicked, my alternative high school that I got kicked out of. Like it was like things was moving in the right direction. But the moment you're moving in the right direction, if you haven't worked on your inner work and your inner child work, what happens is uh, that monkey come rear in his face, that old you come rear in his face, and it puts you in positions where you could remember why you did all of the work, meditation work, and all that, or you can forget it and then have to make your trip to your agenda or your purpose or your journey that much longer. So, I just a little bit details of how I got into the mental institution. I had a dream that my partner that I was with, she was pregnant, and I had a dream that she was like texting other dudes while she's in my mom's house with us, and like we had from our divorce, we have been houseless. I think we had just got our car repossessed, and in the dream, I I snapped her neck. She was like 7 months pregnant at the time, so I killed my child, and then my mom had killed me for killing her grandbaby and causing all that drama in her world. So fast forward within like 72 hours, that dream came to fruition, and the only thing that stopped me from like going all the way through it, because I told you I'm a trained killer, what stopped me from doing it was the fact that I saw how it played out. Um, me and my partner did get into an altercation because she was texting another nigga right next to me, and like I snapped, saw red, and we we caught ourselves. Uh, we started talking with my mom. My mom took the whole situation and like I said, not really taking sides, but feeding off of the drama, feeding off of the drama, right? And she was like this close from stabbing me. She didn't stab me. The cops was called. I was able to neutralize the cops. Um, and after that moment, I checked myself into a mental institution. And the reason I checked myself into the mental institution was because all of this power and like I was manifesting things that I didn't want for myself. So it was like I had all this power and I wasn't in control of it. And so I checked in myself in there. Even the first moment I had to like remain calm and stay still and chill. The guy I checked out went the first night I'm in a room with this hostile dude that I saw, and it took a couple security to kind of get him down, and I had to sleep in the room with him. And I only did 3 days in the mental institution, but after the first night, they moved me to my own room. I sat back, I talked with some doctors. I met this dope black doctor, and I was letting them know, like, uh, I'm moved by the spirit. I mean, I follow the ancestors. Even the ancestors led me here. Like, I had to check myself into this. No one 1051 me. I checked myself in it, and I had to prove to the doctor that I was that to get into the mental. I had to prove that I was mental, and the doctor he told me he gave me a dope ass tip. He was like, "Don't tell people you hear voices because when when you tell them you hear voices, they, in this Western culture, Western society, they automatically admit you, and they start giving you medicines that suppress your abilities, especially for the melanin abundant, melanin dominant, Tuskegee Airmen. Fucking, they've been working on viruses to kill off the melanin abundant people for the longest. It's crazy that they could be using this to heal so many things and create so many things. But capitalism, Zionism, Marxism, socialism, all these isms are needing someone to destroy. So you gotta have a bad guy in it, right? A winner and a loser. But while I was in there, I really got to develop my relationship with God. He said, "Tell him don't." He said, "Don't tell him that you hear voices. Just tell him that you move by the Spirit." Uh, and all I had in there was my notebook, and I had my Bible, and that was the first time that I read scriptures out loud. So when I got out of the hospital, the mental institution, I immediately wanted to raise awareness for mental health. This was back in 2018. So I started sharing my story on my mental health. I started sharing the story of my violence, my domestic violence, my childhood violence, and my brother and I was promoting our books, and I really was diving deep on like the mental psyche, mindfulness, and really not just reading these success books for abundance, but reading these books, one, to see how not to harm myself or others, and to see how others may want to try to harm us. Like 48 Laws of Power, right? I read 48 Laws of Power, and a lot of reading in 48 Laws of Power, it has to do with imperialism, the oligarchs, the capitalism, not outshining the master, create cult-like following. All the like the laws they were interesting to say the least, right? But these are laws that's like the demiurge lived by. For those that don't know what demiurge is, it's an era consciousness that was created by the divine Sophia, was created by divine feminine frequencies, and it was created without being a complete source. And the demiurge created this world. Let's call this world the matrix, right? And the matrix is like a dome or a firmament, right? And there, in this dome and firmament, you're able to be feasted upon on your energy. It's called loosh. It's being able to be feasted upon. Anyone that doesn't have self-worth, any shame, guilt, fear, even desire, bro. It's crazy that desire is a low frequency, right? It's a low frequency. Your desire isn't really high. So that's why, like, even in setting up that, like, I want to manifest a house and a car, none of that shit fucking matters if you haven't healed yourself. None of that shit fucking matters because if you can't leave it for 7 generations. So I really, like, I changed. My purpose and agenda has been evolving. Like a lotus flower from the mud rises this beautiful flower. And after that mental health stint, and after I started diving and digesting all of these books, after meeting my rich dad, and my second marriage. My second marriage was awesome, bro. Like, we was making about 6,000 a month. Well, she was making about 6,000 a month. I'm a pimping a pastor and ass pimp, political fucking politician ass pimp, right? Pimp, pastor, politician. The only thing that sets them apart is their intentions, integrity, their morals, and their values, right? And a lot of my morals, my intentions, and my integrity was built upon like getting the bag. It was built upon competition. It was built upon extraction. It was built upon empire's way of success. Mind you, I have been working, always been a part. My father was a part of the street and the drug game. My mom was always a part of the hustle game. So we always seen like get the money, get the money, get the money, get the money. And if the money is the goal, you will always be going to get it because the money is made up of numbers and they never run out. And until like you remember that, I remember something that my great grandma said was like, "Baby, you the bag, you the bag. When you know that you the bag, you don't have to chase anything. You just have to make sure that you are in the frequency of receiving it." And being in a frequency of receiving it is aligning with the reality that you desire, and then taking the action steps to do it. So I was taking in the wisdom and knowledge, and I'll be in that frequency sometimes, but because my trauma, like the world, the universe doesn't hear yes or no, it just hears whatever you're speaking about, right? So like this video right now, I'm doing this RIP to the homie Bay. Uh, my city is about to go through, it's already going through it, bro. It's been North New Jersey, Lenape territory, Delaware Nation. It's been going through the ringer since 2011, right? And right now, there's a lot of campaigns and a lot of shifting that's about to happen. From the mayor down, we just got a new governor. So from the governor down, there's going to be a lot of changing of seats. And where we don't do politics, right? Democracy, because it's a demonocracy. But we support the leaders that are the servants of God to serve God's children. And that's what all politicians are. That's what all cops are. That's what all federal state agencies, they're trustees, and they don't act like trustees if you don't know how to use the language and the demeanor, the manner to control yourself to say some really like deep shit or some heavy shit or grief and trauma filled shit. And it's now 2026, right? Like I'm all, I had been, when I checked myself into the mental institution, I had been already like waking up since like 2011, 2012. So it had already been like 6 years of me getting in these books, these seminars, mindfulness, thinking grow rich and all that. So to fast forward where we are now, like after my second marriage, I was houseless, and then like I was bouncing on couches, and then I wind up being able to stay at a rooming house for my child's mom, the one I almost killed. But after her, right, like we met this dope ass energy manager. Shout out to Terry. And when the pandemic hit, like I lost access to my children. Like because I stopped paying child support, I lost access to my children. And me and Terry, Terry had an abortion. And she wanted a baby. By the way, I got 10 heirs that are on this land now, and 6 of them that are ancestors that I know of. 7 now. 7. Shout out to you, Sarah. We just lost a baby, or we just gained an ancestor baby form this past week, and I never stopped to like really chill and just be, right? And I say this because I fast forward to where we are now. This country, it's okay to take our children. In this country, it's okay to demonize anybody that has trauma or grief, as long as they're black and brown. And right now, it's a siege happening, and the siege is dividing and putting people in more of a lower vibration, so the loosh from the demiurge can be just sucked on. So the whole goal is to learn how to remain still neutral or positive at least 51% of your 1,444 minutes in a day, right? If you do that, you are balanced, you are coherent, you are in alignment. But the way the society works, because of the nanotechnology, because of the radio waves and frequencies that we get from our devices that we're all using, they only have to send out a vibration to make people angry, sad, frustrated, hungry, fucking horny, and I made it my purpose, especially when I was living in the rooming house, and I got to witness something in this. A lot of us are healing generational trauma and grief and violence from at least 7 generations, if not 177 generations if you're Aboriginal to this land. If you could trace your genealogy back to COMMENT, which most can, if you really want to. So being in this state of constant survival, never really slowing down to breathe, every situation I was going into, I was adding value to it, but I was looshing from it, or I was taking a shit in the communities, right? So we went to Oakland. We made our way to Oakland. In 2020, we went on tour, made our way to Oakland, right? And when we made it to Oakland, um, we was houseless out there in the lonely territory, and we told the universe, we're like, yo, we need some female company. So we wound up meeting dope ass Black Panther Cub, shout out to you CJ, and a dope ass Pakistani, right? Shout out to you Dina, and Rebecca. Those are the three that I engaged with before I engaged with my current partner and co-creator, Sarah Eleanor Crispin. Y'all know as AX and E. Um, but when I got there and I said I needed some female counterpart, Oakland told me like, it was like, this is your home now. You gotta play roots. And with me, like, if you talk about roots, then I need a baby over here. I need a baby over here. So, sex is for procreation, reproduction, co-creation. It's for magic. It's not for pleasure. And those I used it for pleasure a lot of my years. And what you do when you do that, you give off a part of your soul. That's what they call soul ties. You leave a part of your soul into people, places, and things that may not be aligned in this now moment. That's why they talk about cutting soul ties, and that's something that you got to consistently do over and over again. Um, but while I was in Oakland, I did good. I helped people. I lifted up the community. I ignited the peace love movement. Like this right here. Like I brought this to Oakland, man. And I say that I brought this to Oakland because after me being there and doing that, right, having an influence on the artists, I started seeing tags of that shit. Um, and then I met my partner, right? Throughout that process, we were manifesting healing. So we manifested this artist named Landrell to come to Oakland for the first time. Landrell came to Oakland. We were supposed to be a part of that show, but bad business dealings, ladies, man, pussy always get me in trouble, and it gets me out of trouble. So. My business partner that we had launched one of our ministries with, me and her got into an altercation, and I had to like stay in the Oakland area, and stay in the New Jersey area when I was supposed to be in Oakland with this Landrell event, a weekend event that we had manifested, and I missed that. And all of the energy that we had put into Oakland got hijacked by these whack ass spiritual fuck boys, fucking Santos Soul and what the fuck is his name? Fucking urban hippie, whatever the fuck, man. Uh, so like, we were making another baby with Dina. Out of the three young ladies that we engaged with, we made a baby with Dina. Dina was pregnant while she was manifesting all of these things. Update: Dina's in Canada with my child that I didn't get to see or be a part of because she had some white fucking witch as the doula, and this was during the pandemic, and you can only have one other fucking person in the room. These stupid ass fuck. So like, I missed the birth of that child. Um, while I was getting back out here to hold space with this child, and it's crazy as fuck, bro. So like, the good that you do has to be balanced with somebody has to give a part of this. So you gotta lose something, especially when you're manifesting big, because all manifestations require contrast. All manifestations require chaos and contrast, right? Because out of chaos comes creation. So we had manifested some great things for Oakland. Everybody that we had connected with, for real, for the most part, had bigged it up. But like, after me connecting with my current partner, right, like who is a German and Chinese, Czechoslovakian, British, like she was a colonizer. Um, it's like a black card, right? If you don't got a black card, you can't come in certain hoods. But I met her in the hood, and then I met her in the hood saying she was giving money and taxes to people like me, Aboriginals that are going through things. So I was like, a word? Well, my people need money on the East Coast, right? So she also had she came to the Landrell event. So that Landrell event was a healing hub for me to attract all of the ghosts and the Ghostbusters, track them all of them come to the city. So anybody that came to that event caught a whiff of our frequency, indirectly. So she was at that event, and then Dina invited her to our child's sacred ceremony. Their first birthday is the birth blessing way of baby shower, and their energy stood out to me because they spelled gratitude, gratitude, and they got our little Aboriginal baby a nice little Aboriginal book. And for those that don't know, we're Aboriginals, the original people, we're Aboriginal of Turtle Island, so sovereign heirs of Turtle Island. Um, and it was beautiful. I was like, I gotta meet this person. And we had a ceremony event. We had a vision board ceremony. She showed up, had a couple of my house roommates that was there, and when we had our event in this we call it the David compound. The fuck boy Santos had a ceremony there. He opened up a portal that he didn't close effectively or efficiently. So everything that we did in that was like funnel into his portal. He was supposed to funnel it back. But niggas don't know how to co-create, bro. Like the spiritual community is like filled with a bunch of fuck frequencies that don't want to do the grief work. They don't want to do the shadow work. You either have these people that fall in love with the shadow work and then get taken over by the demons, or they're super love and light and then bypass their shadow and they spill that shit on everybody else. They loose on everybody that's following them, that's listening to them, that's taking breath works with them. So we did that ceremony, and we had captured her. So we captured some spirits, right? And AX is one of the spirits that we had captured. And in that, I don't take long to lay it down. We wind up. Can you hear me? Yeah, we wind up becoming intimate, and in that intimacy, she shared something that most females usually share with me, right? And it don't matter if I have sex with them or not, but because I experienced violence and sexual assault as a child in my youth, people feel safe enough to share their violence or sexual assault with me, right? So she shared with me that she don't know if her dad or mom had sexually abused her, and I was just like, oh, you should tell them type shit. And I'm listening to them talk. We going on tour up and down San Diego. We aligning and connecting, and I don't do girlfriends no more. Like I don't do girlfriends. I don't do relationships. Uh, but I saw E misusing her black card, acting like she's slumming it, thinking that she need to raise money from other people, and come to find out her people got money. Her dad worked for the military. Worked for the government. Her mom was an accountant for some rich ass Ashkenazis, and I was like, she's a valued asset. So I'm gonna put a baby inside of this for insurance, and then we're gonna take you to the East Coast, and we did that. And while we're on this trip, and the more I get to be around her, more my ancestors are speaking. They're like, bro, you just captured some dope booty. Like this right here is a gold mine. Not just because she's a squirter, not because she can bounce back from pregnancy, not just because of her assets. What, who the assets was coming from? Her father, his bloodline was part of the original 13 colonizers from the Philadelphia areas, and he's an old school colonizer. So that was beautiful. I was like, yeah, we want all that reparations from you because I think it was like 2015, 16 time frame. I started dreaming, and videos would show up that would align with the dreams, and these spirits were showing me that in order for the melanin abundant people, Aboriginal of Turtle Island, to get their funds, right, their reparations, it's going to come from the great great grandchildren, right? Like the parents' children's children, right? The parents that committed the atrocity. So from the trust fund babies. And once I found out that AX was a trust fund, our whole goal was to wash that money. Mac, how do you wash your money? So you take it from one area and you put it in the washing machine. You put it in another area. What was your washing machine? My community. Take white people money or Caucasoid money, and I brought it to the communities that need it. I brought it to the people that needed it. I utilized it so that my grandma can see her grandchildren. And like, I really don't like Caucasoids. I'm not a fan of Caucasoids, bro. I'm not a fan of colonizers, their voices, stuff to me. So I tell this story with my backstory of my training growing up in abuse and violence, because when somebody share their abuse and violence with you, right? Now, if you don't provide a grief space for that container to be transmuted, it has to play itself out. It has to. So my goal was to confront her dad about the sexual assault that she said she may or may not have received. But when I confronted her dad, right, he put his hands on me because I got too close to him. I'm able to be wherever I want to be. But I was on his property, right? When I got too close to him, and he hit me, even though it's the sidewalk. It wasn't actually his house. He don't own the land. He owned the building that's on the land. It's actually our property because we own the land underneath the concrete. It's authorized as fuck, right? But when he put his hands on me for calling him out, and he denied it, of course, we called the cops on him. The cops showed up, and like they was hell bent on like trying to get me arrested. But when you've experienced the police and the justice system from an early age, they the frighten or the fear that they give off is it doesn't last, right? So because it doesn't last, we was able to collect the footage on racist cops. Um, but at that moment when her dad touched me, because I was calling truth to power, he put himself in my debt even more. And my goal was to sue the fuck out of him for putting his hands on me. AX didn't want that at the time. Like, she found a way to get our attention off of it. So we fast forward, right? This is 2022, by the way. We fast forward, travel up and down the West Coast, and travel cross country, pick my grandma up, and travel up and down the East Coast, recording music, dropping off money, staying at dope Airbnbs, building out their agenda of new systems of governance with Speak Freely Media, connecting it to the East Coast. Also building out, like, adding more credibility to what we've already been doing. I've always had females or partners or people, places, and things that if I didn't have the assets or resources, they were always there because I bring the energy, I bring the vibe, I bring the ideas, and we birthed our first child because of the incident that happened in 2020 with us not being able to be there in the hospital, made us lose all credibility, or made us lose all what's the word I'm looking for? Made us lose all confidence inside of the medical system. I already lost confidence in the justice system. I definitely lost confidence in the child support and CPS system, and losing confidence in the medical system. Where one, so it was like Terry died while having my baby. Dina, I couldn't be in there for my baby. And then the lady that I got with after Terry couldn't have babies. So I was just putting my seed into a dead hole. If somebody got their tube tied, bro, and you a melanin abundant person and you okay with going crazy, go ahead and have that unprotected sex. But if someone got their tubes tied or they can't have babies, you are setting yourself up for a mental health like crash course. So then fast forward when we got E pregnant, it was nothing in our body that wanted to go into a hospital. We was going to do a birthing center. Her family planned, like my intentions wasn't to be a doula, right? I was already a grief doula. I wasn't intending on being a birth doula. Her family said they was going to take care of the pregnancy. They got millions, bro. Like, they got this thing in their mind that people got to work for money. And they don't know just me listening to them and giving them children is working for their fucking money. Like, they ignorant, they're intelligent idiots. They're the highest level of MK Ultra. And they're my unaware allies, right? Because like they pay for all of this. They pay for the internet and shit that we on, right? But in that moment, when they was playing with like whether or not they gonna pay for this, and they wanted the super controller. They like direct control freaks and passive aggressive control freaks. And one thing you can't do with somebody that got knowledge yourself is try to control them. And that put us in a crazy situation. Like they've been constantly trying to set me up for failure to prove themselves right that they daughter made a mistake with leaving uh, leaving Oakland. Jerome, if you would have admitted to your sexual misconduct, maybe she would have stayed and came back. But you got to pay because you didn't uphold your fiduciary duty as a parent. And I say that to him, like I haven't been upholding my fiduciary duty as a parent. My children, outside of like praying and like I've been seeing them through all this time. Like I've always been around my children from the first 3 to 4 years, especially when I knew about it. If I wasn't in the military or deployed or some shit, so like we are coming up on a third year of having our children, and then my thing is the village is supposed to grow, and we've been growing the village. Um, but we birthed that baby with the help of my mom and my brother. We had it live. I was using all my sound healing, but we birthed it, and then they said they was gonna pay for the birth, right? And births at a hospital are a couple $1,000s, right? A few thousand. The birthing center that we was gonna get was like 4,500, right? Um, and it was we had a natural birth in the pool, all that dope good shit. Um, so because it was me that birthday child, they decided to go in the low end, $1,000, which really wasn't 10% of that shit. Um, but we had the baby. My mom and my brother helped out. Awesome. Shout out to baby Imani. Um, they were born on my father's birthday. Then uh, we were traveling with them. Then we wound up being houseless with them because our car got not repossessed. It got towed. It's still in the tow lot. It's been towed. It's been sitting there for about 2 years now. Shout out to you, Clancy, coming to get you. So throughout this process with me and E, we're having, and this is what I said I learned with Brianna, the young lady that I had the dream with. I learned that if either one of our moms have an argument with somebody, it rolls down. If our parents are directly arguing, it rolls down. It has to find a way. Even if they're not having a conversation that they're supposed to have, it rolls down. Just like rollover minutes, like grief is something that rolls over. Energy is never created to destroy, but it's simply transmuted. Grief is never really created, it's experienced. And then if you don't experience it and allow it to go through and back into the earth, back into the world, it festers, it goes down to your children. This is how we pass down. This is the demons. The demon, which D means negative, Mon means moon. Moon represents the emotions. The dense energy emotions, or the demons, come from inner talk that was passed down from our parents and grandparents, and then inner grief that was passed down from our parents and grandparents, and then whatever things that we got rewarded for, punished for, any of those things that happen, right, created these demons that if you don't face them, they come out whenever. Anytime it's triggered, they come out. Alcohol can trigger it, a certain smell can trigger it, a sound can trigger it, right? So an image can trigger it. And like I really worked on my demons, bro. I really worked on my demons. And I get to see and hear and listen to people's conversation who doesn't work on their demons. So me and AX wind up getting into a couple altercations while she was carrying Imani, right? One of the altercations was she thought she could stop me from walking out, and like I I was like, bro, you can't stop me from doing what I want to do. And right now, right, she's saucing one of my students. And she's so fucking annoying, bro. She's so annoying. She's so annoying. She's so annoying. She's so annoying. Because in this entirety, right, I just told you the backstory of what she was doing. But since I put my hands on her, everybody props her up. Everybody appreciates everything that she does, and they can't see the shit, the harm that she caused. But I take responsibility for it. So fast forward to last year, right? Last year, oh man, I really started seeing like me manifesting out of my children's world, not by my own intent. It was between her mom, her dad, my children's moms. No one, like, how people speak about your frequency assists the reality that you are engaging with, right? Um, so I had a moment where I she's been correcting my parenting, right? Correcting how I parent in front of the children, like undermining. And I want to say December of 2024, I made an agreement that until we resolve our grief work, until your dad dies, my mom dies, we have some more bandwidth. Because when people live past their expiration date, they take up space from their next of kin. And because they only got one child, they take up space from her. Because they don't fuck with me, like they steal space from me. Like we would give it to them freely, but they steal it. So I'm trying to have this fucking meeting while she's fucking So I rocked her shit last year and I posted it. Some blood was dripping out. She recorded it. I sent it to her mom. I sent it to her dad. I posted it and I let people know like I need assistance with this. I need assistance with it. And instead of people reading and offering assistance, everybody immediately wanted to attack. Everybody. They either separated, distanced themselves from me, or they directly chose to be like, you're a bad person for doing that. And a lot of shame bombing, guilt bombing, but I was cool. Even my son, right? He went off, right? I was cool with it as long as people want to come apart. If you want to talk about, if you want to criticize, judge, and condemn, come on, come in and join the group circle. Come on, you can just jump online, man. Join the Zoom. Not many people from the activist movements that I was part of, not many people really wanted to be a part of it. And the people that were a part of it had ulterior motives to be a part of it. So her mom called CPS, called the cops and called CPS. And CPS get involved on normal situations. If you're a citizen, they get to come in your house and do and ask and all that shit, right? So we told them they can't come in. So we've been going back and forth to court, establishing our jurisdiction, challenging jurisdiction, special appearances in court, and we've been busting they ass, right? They still haven't came all the way in the house. We haven't taken none of their stupid suggestions. Our children are still with us, right? They can't take our children. They can't. They can't. We're not relinquishing the rights. So we about to close up this case on next week. We should be closing this case up on the 26th, and I've been doing ceremony, and after we close this case up, I put a dodge in there, right? Aboriginal Day of Accountability and Justice. Um, I'm I'm suing all motherfuckers I'm holding y'all all accountable. Every Jewish person, Ashkenazi Zionist, every fucking Italian, German, Russian, Indian, from India, every Chinese, Japanese, Korean, uh, all of y'all, every last one of y'all. If you benefited from anything that America did after 1492 or 1777, right? Declaration of Independence, or the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, all of these documents that was created to say all men created equal. This country they warred against the brown people and red people and melanin abundant people here, right? And then they poisoned them. They used fucking smallpoxes. They fought war very savage like, because the old Balfour Act, because the old Roman Catholic Vatican Church, you have the right to claim land of the savages in Jesus' name, right? That's what the Crusades about. And the Moors had did it earlier, but the Moors they looked like the black and brown people from this land, so this land was like it was less aggressive, right? The ignorant ass Caucasoids, right? Because I got at least 20 to maybe 30% of Caucasoid in me, and I'm not a fan of that part. Learning how to not hate it as much is where I'm getting to. Uh, but I bring this up because of the courts, right? Because this land was never lawfully ceded in the Aboriginal Day of Accountability and Justice. If they got until December of next year to fully atone for what they did against the Aboriginal people. Shout out to the Pontiac. Shout out to Robert Hayes. Shout out to Hayes, bro. Chief Hayes, bro. Shout out to all of the truth tellers that's out here right now, the Aboriginal truth tellers. Shout out to G West. Um, Shout out to Ami Faye. Ami Faye is a dope ass truth teller. And by March of 2027, we're going to be like starting them to repatriarch, and that repatriarch is them going back to their land, like, or being in a shelter type environment where we can help deprogram the white supremacy, the Zionism, imperialism, and they do it with all the people that they benefited with, all of these bomb shelters and all of the shit that they want to hunker down in for the end times. We're going to turn those shelters into the facilities that everybody get to watch them. Just like since live streaming is the shit, everybody get to watch them go through the grief, the sovereignty process in the program and be around their people and watch these super powerful people. They was only powerful because we was playing their system and their game that wasn't set up for us, right? They got to go through a rehabilitation process. We get to liberate the entire land. We get to really become a regional power. We get to get back to really cleaning all of the destruction from extraction causes and capitalism causes. So I'm excited about ADAJ, but I made this video ultimately one to like just discuss the violence, right? And uh, in order to be in Nirvana, there can't be no violence, right? But I know this is war times, even though we're looking for peace. So I say all what I say is that I'm not against violence. I'm not against violence. The abuse of the violence, the abuse abuse of the violence where it has to stop. And even with me and my partner, right? The abuse that I do to a woman when I slap the shit out of her, or punch the shit out, or the abuse that I do if I physically punch somebody, it's way greater against the abuse of mental, emotional, and systemic racism and white supremacy and even Marxism and all the isms, right? So I share with y'all, me putting a baby inside of a Caucasoid and a non-native to this land person is a strike against all my people, right? And all my ancestors gotta work hard. Like my ancestors, their ancestors be beefing. I told you at the beginning of this, I put a baby inside of for insurance. We wanted to make sure that that money that her father and mother got goes to my children, their grandbabies. We want to make sure all the assets go to the children, because like you're the most valuable asset that you have, and then when you create or co-create a child, they become the most valuable asset in the family. But this in a capitalist world, they make you look at your children as a liability, because they're liabilities if you can't be around them to rear them, and somebody else is rearing them, and you got to work 2 and 3 jobs because you got to pay bills you got to pay to be in a wooden closet, and you got to pay for electricity and water. These things that are free, bro. Yeah, man. So I say all that to say that we're going into a season where the contrast is necessary. We got our head on our shoulders. AX, you don't want to be hit no more. I definitely don't want to be verbally and emotionally abused. I really don't want to deal with any Caucasoid that don't know what time it is. And because we gave AX the privilege to be around, like everything that we're doing, like she's, what's the word? It was the word that the comrades used. Appropriated. She like appropriate the fuck out of our Aboriginal movement, man. And it's cool because everything she do for herself and for anything she created. And because we co-created children's together, it's ultimately going to have a major effect. But over the past 48 hours, like everybody's been telling us, like they look at our relationship or our this and our marriage, and everybody call her my wife, and I'm just like, I just got to get the record straight. I'm married to myself. I'm married to the mission. I captured them from the United States Corporation, and in that capturing that booty, we let them go. Like they can go, but they want to take my children, and until we do the proper healing, I'm not letting go of my children. Like no one can get that. That's cool. We got in this time frame, we got access to about 2 acres of land. Some in the South Ward, some in the West Ward, some in the North Ward, and we looking to put some houses in there, so I don't have to be up under each other. We can be in the same city. We don't have to stay in the same place. And even like I've been sleeping in one of the houses that we are taking. It doesn't have heat. It's dead cold winter up here in the Northeast. So it's like, yo, can I say what's up to the homie? Mitaku Yeo Yasin Wagwan. Yep. Yeah, what's good with you, homie? Nice. Bro, I don't feel bad. I thank you for this transmutation that you just did with our co-creator in regards to AX. The space that you hold is priceless. I just need you to know that always. Don't feel bad. Uh, you have one of the biggest, purest hearts that we know, and you never judged and criticized anything that we shared with you. You were the first person that we told that, we captured her. So, nah, don't feel bad. I just wanted to say what's up and
just exchange sounds with you and just let you know it's go time.
I receive that. Thank you so much for your observation. And it's crazy because even me saying that, I got that same really love the language for it because I do appreciate when people can see what it is and just name it. So thank you for that. And yeah, we'll connect soon too.
Oh yeah, man. I like it's going up, bro. It's going all the way up. Thank you again. I love you, bro. Mitaku Yeo Yasin is we all relations. And you made the tail end of my life, bro. Like they can't really see you. I'm wrapping up my YouTube live. I just hit 1K subscribers on YouTube after 14 years of being on YouTube. Major accomplishment, huh? I think it is. Let me take a look real quick. I think I changed the name. So it's at Mac.369 Mindset, but I changed the channel name to Urban Cosmic Vibe Code 369. Yeah, because we hacking the fuck out of the metaverse, making and shutting everybody up for the melanin verse every time we hop in here. So now,
I want to make sure I'm subscribed to your channel. Congratulations on that.
I appreciate it. I think K-Sign, I'm not K-Sign, A-Sign, the guy, aka Old Dirty Bastard, like his video that I posted of one of his shorts from the Wu-Tang series. That shit got over 100,000 views. It just went over 100,000 views. I posted that shit like maybe a year ago. But that shit is non-stop, consistent people. That lets me know which ancestors is fucking with me when I post their shorts and shit. And they get the flow. Huh? Yeah. But nah, man, I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you was getting off the phone. Like I said, I just wanted to share the 369 vibes with you, man. And just let you know I thank you.
Blessings. And I'm glad that I got to get same sounds as well. Just hear your voice and say what's up.
I share you, one. I'm gonna give you back to eat. I know y'all was about to hang up. I love you, bro. Keep doing what you're doing. I look forward to the times and your responses in divine time.
For sure. I'm excited to see what's in it as well. I'm looking forward to connecting.
I share you. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, man.
All right. Thank you.
I just had to add sounds. Sounds matter. That's it. And we gave 60 minutes of our sounds. Hope y'all enjoyed.
Cut.